Greetings, Mythics. How are we all? Hopefully you've all had a lovely, lovely week. I can see here, look, oh, Lirin, there's a message from Lirin at 9:29. Have fun, fellas. We'll be watching East of Eden, 1955, starring the legendary rebel without a cause man himself, James Dean. Well, thank you very much for leaving a message there, Lirin. I appreciate it. And hopefully you'll have enjoyed East of Eden. So, welcome everybody else. You'll obviously welcome Lirin if you're watching this on playback. Yes, this is Edra Scrolls even. Ramblings of a Storyteller. We talk about creativity, we talk about your projects, we talk about my projects. And I am Ken Boyter, but you probably already know that. This is Grocklesnook. Again, you probably already know that. But you probably only know that if you watched this live stream previously, or if you've gone over to the YouTubes, and you might have seen me on the Bottled Imp YouTube channel. Yes, myself and Julian co-created the channel all those years ago. We've got over 450 episodes there of fantasy goodness, fancy book reviews, fancy film reviews, and fancy board game reviews as well. And all these live streams, they go over to YouTube as well, but they go over to the Edra Tales YouTube channel. So if you want to pop over there, if you miss any of these live streams, every single one of them will be over there on YouTube, so you can catch up if you miss any. And welcome. Good morning, Jonathan. I actually received a notification from Twitch this morning. Well done, Twitch. Well done, Twitch. Sasha, good morning. How are you, Sasha? Long time no see. Hopefully everything's well with you. And Spellsing, good afternoon. Oh, good morning. It's good morning for me. It's that time again. It is that time again. Yes, it's 10 a.m. there or thereabouts. So I am a very, very tired bunny. Very tired indeed. Oh, let me turn the volume down. Oh. Obviously, I've got Skyrim playing in the background. Seriously, is Skyrim the best video game ever? There you go, let's put that one out. Sasha says here, I'm doing well, thanks. And you? Yes, I'm doing very well, thanks. Probably like you. Well, like you. No, hang on, how can I put this? I'm very busy, probably the same with you. Yeah. Once again, I have taken on more than I can chew. But hey, it's all fun, all the fun of being a creative person. Yeah, however, I'm seeing some light at the end of the creative tunnel. You know, as I've tried to be very good at not taking on new projects if I'm in mid other projects. I've really tried to stick to that. It hasn't always worked out that way, but there's a few projects that could be wrapping up relatively soon anyway. Sneaks in and scares Ken. Oh, hello, Martha. Yes. Weirdly enough, before I started live streaming, I thought, oh, I hope Martha's okay. I must send her a text afterwards. And here you are. Hopefully you are very well. Yeah. So Jonathan's here, Sasha's here, Martha's here, Spelsing's here. Lirin, for those of you that haven't read his comment, Lirin is watching East of Eden this morning. So that's pretty cool with James Dean. Well, James Dean's in the film. He's not watching it with James Dean, obviously. You know, that'd be a bit awkward. The Ghost of James Dean. Oh, there's a good book title for anyone there. The Ghost of James Dean. You scared me. So there we go. Yeah, so I guess the biggest news from my own let me finish my project's point of view is Devilish Deaths, To Kill a Thief, the first game book that I've written, is very, very close to being sent off to the printers. This is the manuscript printed out, and it is a tome. However, this one I printed out, so obviously it's not going to be this size. This is A4. It's going to be, you know, more of a novel size. Yay! Says Sasha, I'm sneaking, and no, Ken, I'm not okay. Oh no, you got inflammation of the jaw, and you're on meds for it. Oh, big hugs for Martha. Oh, no, I've never had that before, but I bet that's horrible. Sounds horrible. Hopefully it's not painful. But if it is painful, hopefully they're treating the pain for it. Big hugs to Martha. So this is the manuscript. Now, I printed this one out because I didn't know when Sally was going to finish doing her proofreading. She had 200 entries to go. And so I thought, well, I might as well start looking at it again because I wanted to give it a last final look over before I send it off to the printers. However, this one hasn't got the pictures in, it hasn't got the images in. So I printed it off again after I typesetted the pictures in as well. So this is it here. It's 460 pages. Oh, there's a sneak peek of an image there. So this has got all the filler images. It's got everything typeset in its correct position. Okay. So it's also got the, as I was going to say, the images. Now I don't want to show you too many of the images, but I think I've shown you some images already. Let me see if I can find. I tried finding the blacksmith one that I know I've shown you, but you can't seem to find that. Yeah, but it's come out really well. The images have come out really bold. Let me see if I can find one that I know you've seen. Don't think you've seen that one. And of course, being a game book, the story's out of sequence, so I know where roughly in order it would be. But obviously, because it's out of sequence, it could be anywhere. Oh, that's the one. Yes, so there you go. So that is the blacksmith. And what I'm going to do is, yeah, I've put little descriptions down there at the bottom of the illustration, so you can tie it in with which entry. It should be opposite the page of where the entry is. But I thought it's a nice touch that Fighting Fantasy started to do. So there you go. So that's what, you know, the images have come out really well. They've come out very bold. However, Sally did manage to finish proofreading all of the manuscript, the last 200 entries as well. So yesterday, I spent most of yesterday going through, well, I don't know about most of yesterday, but at least 4 hours, 5 hours, going through the last 200 entries and making those corrections. So this is now not the latest version. So I'll be printing out the latest version and binding it again like this, because then it's much easier for me to then go through it one last time and then send it to the printer for my proof copy. So then when I get the proof copy back from the printer, then I can check it all over, and if there's no mistakes in it, if it's all gone well, then I can order the book. So I believe it's going to be probably, I would say, the latter half of November, where you're going to get your books. So I do apologise that it's taken a year to do. However, it's nearly 100,000 words. It's a bigger story than I thought it was going to be, so it's taken me longer to do. You live and learn. Oh, thank you, Sasha. It's been an incredible experience because you know, there's so many different aspects to writing a game book. I do recommend it, but I forewarn you by saying it's not easy. It's not easy. Because there's different layers. There's coming up with the story, which is, you know, I guess you could say relatively easy, the outline of the story. Then, before you can start writing the story, you have to do a flowchart. If you don't do a flowchart, you're going to get lost. So you're going to do, this is the flowchart that you sort of go, right, entry, what's that, entry 99. Okay, then what choices do they have there? Okay, I've got 2 here. So entry 101, entry 102. And what choices do they have? And then you move it down. And then you might want to bring them back together. And then you might want to, you know, make one a dead end and kill them off. You know, so then that stops there. So this alone took me at least a month, maybe even 2 months to do, because it's just, it's so thinky, it's incredible. So then when you've got that, not only do you have to do it as a story, But also, you have to put combat in. You have to make sure there's enough creatures for people to fight. But not only that, if you've got skill tests, so you've got, I've got encounters that happen that are random. I've got sleep encounters. Events that are random. I've got sleep encounters that are random. I've got stealth checks. I've got lock picking checks. So there's various other checks where you'll be rolling the dice to see if you pass or fail, and you have to put them in. But also, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just too samey, so I didn't want to just put loads of lock picking checks in there without putting stealth in. So I had to make sure there was a bit of a balance going on. So there's a lot to think about in this planning stage, and then of course. Then you've got to write the story. So then you go through it and you start writing each entry. Yeah? And so that can, even with the flowchart, that can be quite a headache, because you need to remember, continuity. You need to remember, if you've gone this way, would you have picked up, I don't know, the golden dagger? So when you get to another entry, it's like, you picked up the gold, if you have the golden dagger, use it now, so there's all those little things going on as well. So it's been an experience. So once you've finished writing it, then you need it proofread, then you need it play tested. So unlike a novel where you could just, someone can proofread it, which in itself takes a long time if it's 100,000 words. But then you also need people to play test it to see if you haven't mistakenly broken the game, that it's achievable, that the monsters aren't too powerful, all those things, to see if the actual game part of it works. So it's a lot of work. And then one thing that really did my head in, that was I didn't think would be such a brain mess, was once you write it all in all the entries in order, of course you then have to mix them up. So this is my little key to that. So entry 1 is obviously 1, but entry 2 is now been renumbered 3, 4, 5. Entry 3 is now 104. Entry 4 is 204. Yeah, because obviously you don't want people cheating. So you have to sort of have, so if they just read this as a normal book, it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. So you have to do that as well. And then once you've done that, you have to typeset it. So you have to typeset it in a format for the printers, and you have to make sure that you've got enough margins around so that people can read it when it's in a book form. So it's a lot of work. Oh, and then on top of that, I decided I'd do all the illustrations, didn't I? So I had to do all the illustrations as well. So what was I thinking? Sasha's put it sounds like a lot more plotting and strategy to create a book like that is involved. Yes, it is, Sasha. It is. I mean, writing a novel is hard enough as it is. But then to do all the other bits as well. Especially if I'm doing it myself. So a lot of people might not be able to typeset the book or do the illustrations. So that's normally jobs that other people would do. Luckily Sally and my friend Claire proofread the book. Julian proofread the book. And also Julian play tested the book. So I was it was a bit overwhelming at times. Spellsinger's put here, there's a cool application called Twine. Yeah, I've heard of Twine that game books writers use to map out their books for them. Might be worth a goosey gander. Yes, I'm aware of that, but thank you for bringing that up again, Spellsing, because I might look into it, having gone through this process once before. Jonathan has put out, I find writing easier than writing novels. Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. So, Jonathan, for those that don't know, Jonathan has written, I've lost count how many game books you've written. I think Jonathan's written at least 40 game books. And X amount of novels. In fact, I'll show you one of his. I thought I brought one over. Where are they? They Oh yeah, there it is. There's the Dracula one. Yeah, so Jonathan's written... So if anyone would know how to write a game book, it's Jonathan. So that's Jonathan's possibly his biggest game book. And you can play this game book from the eyes of 3 or 4 different people. I think it's 4 people. So you can play different characters. So that's a beast. That must have... I don't know how you did that one, Jonathan, to write the story from all those different viewpoints as well. This is Alice Nightmare in Wonderland. This is quite a chunky one. So that's another one of Jonathan's. So if you're interested in Jonathan's ones... Oh, and also Towards the Nightmare Before Christmas. Go to jonathangreen.author.com. Check that out. Is that because you started young? your young brain could get your head around them. We can't roll a 1 on 2D dice. Yes, Martha, that has been updated. And I will show it to you to prove that. 16 novels. There you go. So Jonathan's written 16 novels, 27 game books, and 2 that haven't been or won't be published. So there you go. So if anyone knows how to write a game book, I started out writing game books, then moved to short stories and then novels. Okay, so how come you find writing game books easier? Because for me, you know, I've written one shortest novel, or it's a novella really, it's 30,000 words, and I'm halfway through writing a 100,000 word novel. And I've written over 25 short stories of 5,000 words each. So what's that? Yeah, so that 5 times 25 is, you know, over a novel's worth. But for me, writing a novel is much easier than a game book because they are broken down into manageable chunks. Oh, okay. And I'm indecisive. That's perfect. I love it. And I'm indecisive. In a novel, I have to decide on one option, but in a game book, I can include them all. Oh, that is beautiful. I had not thought of that. That if you're kind of a bit indecisive as a writer or as a person, that the game books really suit you because you go, yeah, well, we could have him doing that, or we could have her doing that. So let's just put both of them in. That's a good point. Sounds like me at times. Yeah. Oh, okay. Whereas I can be quite decisive, so I would just say, yeah, no, this feels right. I'm just going to write this. Because we're writing a novel for me, or a short story, I get the idea, like, okay, it's going to be about this. And then I can plan that out. I can just start planning that out. And then I can just write it. It just flows. And I don't have to stop and consider the different... I don't have to then go into think mode. I go into sort of writing mode. I know that sounds a bit weird because both are thinking. So it just seems to... I can flow with a novel, whereas with a game book, it's very stop-starty, I found anyway. But yes, Martha, you guys, when I had... when I did the sample, I had stupidly put roll 2d12s and find out what happens. And I'd put number 1. I'd put a 1, but of course, as Martha quite correctly pointed out, you can't roll a 1 on 2d12s. So it starts with 2, Martha, you'll be happy to know. There we go. Oh. I'm going to have a bit of orange juice, perk me up in the morning. Yes, other novelists, as Jonathan, have asked how I can write them, but it's second nature. I can see, now that I've done it once, I can see how it would become second nature because you have a formula, you have a system. the big thing I've learned is I'm not writing 100,000 words again. If you look at the original Fighting Fantasy, they were definitely not 100,000 words. Definitely not 100,000 words. So I am going to be writing shorter paragraphs. And I feel like that's the way forward for me. Just because I'm not a full-time writer. I don't do full-time creativity. So for me to do this whilst doing all my other stuff, you know, without blowing my own trumpet, it took a lot out of me, and it was a big achievement. So Sasha has put it, the weird thing is that as a writer, I seem to be a combination of you and Jonathan. If I know what I want, it flows. But then I will get these other ideas or blockages, and I get a build-up of ideas until one lands. Right, I see, yeah. Jonathan's put it, more recently my game books have averaged 50 to 60,000 words each, which is more, isn't it? That's more. Is that this sort of length, or is that's longer? That's longer. But you see, if you're used to writing it, and I think you write full time now, don't you, Jonathan? So I guess you've got more time to devote to each game book. But Sasha, yeah, that's an interesting point. I think for me, writing boils down to asking questions. So I was just trying to think how I would get over those things if I didn't know the next stage of the novel or what to do. I'm asking those questions, you know, what would happen if, you know, the hero does this? How does the hero feel when that happened to them? So I just keep asking questions, and then hopefully the answers appear, and then that solves any blockages, if that helps. Jonathan's bit, Twas, Ronan, Arkham Horror, Vigilante are all in that short sort of range. Oh, I see. So that is 50,000. Yeah, that's really where I want to be hitting. Oz, Neverland, Dracula were much longer. Yeah, well, if you look at Dracula's a beast, isn't it? Dracula's a beast. So mine is 460 pages typeset. So yours is actually over 600, 645. So for mine's 460. So my novel. So if I've got this correct, mine's going to be that size. Mine's going to be that size. That thick. Think of the postage cost. Yeah, so that's going to be just sort of that thick. So it's going to be thick. It's going to be... This is how we measure everything in Gamebook world, by Fighting Fantasy. It's going to be 2 Fighting Fantasy books wide. That's a good idea. I sort of do that tentatively, then step away until the energy flows again. Maybe I should ask more questions. Yeah, I just ask the questions. Like, okay, and even you could ask questions of yourself and go, okay, what do I want the hero to achieve, or you know, what do I want the villain to achieve? You know, I'm just doing very general questions here. You know, do I, you know, what sort of story is it? Is it a tragedy? Is it a, you know, is it an adventure? Is it where the hero always wins? You know, what kind of story is it? And just keep asking those questions until you make a decision. But you do have to make a decision, as Jonathan says, because ultimately, if you don't, and I think, yeah, if you don't make proper decisions when writing a novel, this is probably a good point I've not necessarily thought through. Then maybe novels end up a bit wishy-washy because the author hasn't been clear about their vision of what the novel should be and what story it is they want to tell. Whereas if you're very precise and clear, and then it might flow a bit better, it might seem a bit more coherent to the reader. So that could maybe that's why. You know, sometimes you read a novel and think, that was all right, or parts of it were okay. Whereas with a game book, hey, of course there's lots of decision. You leave the decision making to the reader, to the player. So yeah, so I'm very happy. Hey, look at that. And I've got all the people who have backed the Kickstarter, got them all here, got them in the acknowledgements, so everybody's here. But I do need to actually, yeah, that's a question actually. Jonathan, do you write to people via Kickstarter asking how they would like their name? I think you do, don't you, in the book? Because it might be different to what they're actually, their Kickstarter account is. Is that what you do? Because I do need to do that. Yeah. So there we go. So that is pretty much the news with the Kickstarter. But obviously the book is just one reward. It's the main reward. Jonathan's put a yes. In the survey there is a question asking precisely how they wish to be credited. Thank you for that, Jonathan. I thought you did that, and I thought, yeah, I need to do that. So you get their address, you get their how they want it to be credited. But of course, I was going to say that is just one aspect of the Kickstarter. That's, you know, the reward. It's the main reward. So what I've decided to do, because it's taking a lot of time, you know, more time than I thought it was going to take me to do this. Martha's got to go. Gaming club, it's open, and I'm going there. And I feel bad for not watching the stream all the way. No worries, Martha. I always say, in real life takes, you know, real life takes priority. And if you just drop in for 10, 20 minutes at the beginning every week, then that's fine. Absolutely fine. It's lovely to see you again. Sorry to hear about your jaw, but enjoy Gaming Club. Enjoy your Gaming Club. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, Martha. Yeah, I was going to say. So what I think I'm going to do, it's going to cost more money, but I think I'm going to send out the books first. I've got a number of digital rewards that I can also do, but I don't want to, you know, I don't want it to tick into next year and nobody's got anything. So I'm going to send out things separately, because I do still need to make bookmarks. I still need to make, yeah, Jonathan's put it. I still need to make little badges, I think. You know, there's other little rewards that I still need to, you know, make, the dice, all those sorts of things that I do need to do. But I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get the book out there for people, just so they can start playing it and start reading it. Because otherwise, if I wait for everything to come in, then it's going to be next year, and that's you know, that's pushing people's patience, basically. Jonathan put here, I forgot, there are 2 more game books I've written that will be published next year. Yay! Next book I'm starting to write next week will be my 30th game book. That is an amazing achievement, Jonathan. An absolutely amazing achievement. Wow. So I've got a few more to write to catch up. Maybe if I write, you know, like really mini adventures, a game book is only 10 entries, then I could catch up with you. Wait and send them all together. It will add so much cost if you're sending 2 parcels to everyone. I know, Jonathan, I know. I'm still caught. I've not made that final decision, but I know. I've got to look into it. Thing is, though, it's going to take longer to get everything else together, Jonathan. Should I just send out the digital stuff? Because I noticed for Shakespeare versus Cthulhu, can you get the dice made at the end of before the end of the year? Possibly, yes. I should be able to. Great news, Mr. Green. Can't wait. Yes, that is great news. 2 more game books. I should be able to. Yeah, I was thinking that maybe the dice and the books. Then you could definitely send ebooks to everyone so they have a chance to read the adventure if they want. Yeah, I could do the ebooks. I could also do the wallpapers. I can do the audio. Anything digital I can just do. Only one of the new game books has been announced so far. Nice. What? Oh, was that the Arkham Horror one? Is that a third Arkham Horror one? Yeah, so maybe I should just do the digital stuff. And then maybe I could wait for the dice. Because it would make sense that people that back the dice and the game book, that they get the dice and the game book because they'd want to play with the dice. That makes sense. That's the one hasn't been... Oh, sorry. Nobody saw that. There's not many people watching. It's not that... I'm sorry. I thought you'd announced. Gocklesnook, help me. Help me. Say something. Don't worry. It's not that many people. This doesn't go far. This is just between us, everybody. Yeah, but come on, everyone will know. They're good. They're good game books. They want a range of game books. Come on. I bet they've commissioned 10. I bet they've already commissioned 10. Anyway, moving on swiftly. Oops. Sasha says, into Arkham you go. Yes, exactly. Maybe the joke will throw you an ace. Exactly. I wish. Oh, but you know what? It's one of those things. You never know with this type of things. If something does well, then obviously they'll want to keep that going. So, you know, the fact that 2 have already been published is good. The cover is looking cool. But oh, nice. That must be very satisfying. To work with a publisher to actually. And Jam's here. Hello, Jam. It must be really satisfying to work with a publisher and then you don't have to worry about all the typesetting and the illustrations and all of that. As long as obviously you like the illustrations. But even if you didn't, I don't know, you'd sort of go with it, I guess, wouldn't you? It's part of your contract. Unless you had it that you could have final say in the artwork. Which book has officially been announced so far, Jonathan? I don't think you'll like the cover. Oh, really? Oh, controversial. Well, the last 2 covers have been cool. Nice, dark and moody. So Jam has also written a game book, as most people know. Just to keep you up to speed, Jam, I have completely typeset the book. The book is completely typeset. And I do need to do a few things, though. I do need to put in the numbers up the top here, now that I know that the game is completely typeset. And also I do need to do another little bit of something or other, but that's fine. Yeah, Valiant, a game book set in Wildcard Studios' dystopian age. Oh, okay, nice. Nice, bit of dystopia. I like that. Excellent, Ken. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. It was a beast. It was just under 100,000 words in the end after all the editing. And, you know, the proofreading. So, yeah, so hopefully... So, and the other bit of news, as you probably know, is... Hang on. Oh, yeah, why didn't I get this ready? I guess it's old news to me. Oh, hang on. I'll put one over here. Guildlands. So my tile laying game designed by myself and Kedrick Winks. Guildlands, there we go. There's my name, Ken Boyter and Kedrick Winks. So this is the tile laying game that came out. We launched it in America in Gen Con, published by Outset Media. They're very kindly flying me over to Germany to Spiel Essen, which is, I think, the biggest board game expo in the world, where we're going to be promoting. I'm going to be demoing this game again, promoting this game, and hopefully selling lots of copies. Oh, I didn't even know you did a game. Yes, yes. Well, that's why I'm so tired. Because I've been doing board game design, game books, stage shows. It's been crazy. Was that the one with all the shields before? All the shields. I don't remember it being shields. Not quite sure which one you're talking about. I have talked about a few games over the years. So our previous game that launched in 2024 is the Crooked Crown. Again by Outset Media. That's a little card game. But this one is a tile laying game. This is a tile laying game that you build a city, basically. I've even got printed T-shirts. Which guild are you? There's all the little guild people. So I'm going to be flying over to Essen. So this is why I wanted to get everything done on the game book as much as I could before I go to Essen, which is next Tuesday for a week. And yeah, the flight is at 7:30 in the morning. I have to be up and out and ready by 4 a.m. 4 a.m. in the morning. When you were designing something, there was a hexagon shape that looked like a shield. I could remember it wrong. Yeah, I have wanted to design games with hexagonals, but I don't really remember. It's too early. It is too early. No, these ones are square tiles. These are square tiles. So this is, so hopefully, we've been getting some really good YouTube reviews, which is good. It's got a BGG rating now of 7.6 on about 65 ratings. So most people give it a 7 or an 8, which is absolutely great. And the Dice Tower, which is, if people that don't know, you're right, Loquacious, you're bored, aren't you? People that don't know, the Dice Tower is one of the big YouTube channels that reviews board games. They gave it an 8.5 seal of approval. Seal of approval. Their next one up is seal of excellence. So not all games get a seal of approval or seal of excellence. So that's excellent. We could even put that on the box if it gets reprinted. I just saw Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. Oh, is that his surname? I didn't know that. Outside a public toilet. Must have been queuing for a slash. And that's why we miss jam in the mornings. So there we go. So I'm going to have to take a break from doing the game book. But when I get back, I should be sending the book off to the printer very, very shortly after that. Get the proof copy back. And then hopefully everything's all right. And we send it off properly and get the game books done. Is that the correct emoji? Probably to Jam's joke. So the other thing with Essen that I suddenly realised was it's good for meeting publishers, other publishers of board games. And so I was thinking, there's no point in wasting this opportunity to try and pitch my other board games to publishers. So, as you probably know if you watch regularly, I have designed a murder mystery game, Devilish Deaths. Devilish Deaths. And this is like a full-on murder mystery game that takes about 3 hours to play, but it's very immersive. You're actually discovering clues, forensics, questioning witnesses, and so you're gathering all this information and you are basically immersed in a murder mystery. And it's all done on little cards. I've got little envelopes. Look at that. It's all done on the cards. So there's a board where all the cards sit, and you and your fellow sleuths have got little tokens that you will go around each room, and you will just discover clues, forensics, and witnesses. And then it's a cooperative game, so together you'll try and work out, who the murderer is, why they murdered, what the weapon was, all of that. And when I play tested it, it's been very, very popular. It's worked really well. I've obviously had to change stuff and tweak stuff, but it is now ready for pitching. And hang on, the old dry mouth. And I did pitch it at UK Games to a number of companies. No one's taken it on. However, I did have a bit of interest. You know, I had further conversations with a few publishers, and there's one company that have come back to me, and I hadn't spoken to them since UK Games. I chased them up and said, "Hello there. You know, are you still interested or not?" You know, and then they didn't reply to me for ages, and then I'd totally forgotten as well, and I got an email from them about a month ago saying. Is the game still available? Is it on Tabletop Simulator? And are you going to Essen? Of which I replied yes to all of those. And then they didn't get back to me for ages. And then they did about a week ago and said, oh, your email slipped through the net. Sorry about that. That's great, yeah. They're going to go to Essen. And they said that but I said, oh, so maybe I could show you it at Essen. And they went, well, we're all fully booked with pitching slots. So how about after Essen, we see the game on Tabletop Simulator? So I was a little bit like, nah, that's a shame because it's nice to meet people. But I will stop by and just say hello. I will stop by and say hello. In fact, I've got rules printed out as well. So I might just give them a rule sheet, and they might already have that because from UK Games. But anyway, just to keep it in their mind. Keep it in their mind. So that's promising. However, I did also email, I think it's 11 companies who are going to Essen to say, look, I've got this game, murder mystery game, etc., etc. You know, I'm going to be at Essen. And it was a good way to also say to them that I have got a game out already called Guildlands. I'm going to be at this stand, so that that might help. Think, oh, okay, well, let's have a look at his game. It might not. I don't know. So yeah, so hopefully I'll get. It's short notice though, because a lot of their slots for pitching get filled up, I guess, quite early. I don't know how it works yet. So hopefully some of them might even just swing by and chat to me for 5 minutes. Some of them might not, some of them might even say, yes, we're available, come and see us. So who knows? So hopefully I can have a few meetings about my board game, about Devilish Deaths. So again, this is why it's been very crunchy, because I'm trying to get the game book done, but I'm trying to also research and email those people. So there we go. So those are the two main projects. And then I've been working on another murder mystery game. That is a shorter game. It's only going to be about an hour long. And I'm stuck on one aspect of it. Maybe somebody might be able to help. Okay. Is anyone up for trying to solve this puzzle? Set collecting. Does anybody play set collecting games? Because if you do, I'm trying to make a set collecting game have skill to it, which I'm not 100% sure can be done. Because set collecting is more to do with luck, isn't it? It's more to do with luck. But I need to find a way of doing set collecting with skill. Maybe you guys don't play set collecting games. But anyway, so I've done another murder mystery game, which has actually been commissioned. So this one should be going ahead. But I've just got to solve how to find the weapons bit. So there we go. So that's kind of what I've been up with. Also up to, I was chatting to a friend of mine who I go to a board game club with, and he said he'd always wanted to do a Dick Turpin game. And I went, oh, that's funny you should say that, because I've always wanted to do a highway game. Not specifically Dick Turpin, but wanted to do a highway robbery game. So, foolishly, I've said, okay, yeah, let's design it together. So we've started to write down some notes for the Dick Turpin game. But this happened as well to me. when I was at Gen Con and I was talking to another designer, one of the designers of Feed the Kraken, and we started talking about a game. So there's another game called Ring Out Your Dead. That's the title we're going to go for. Because that's about, the bits where, medieval times they would bring out the bodies from the plague. Do you remember the Monty Python sketch? It's sort of loosely based on that. So there's that one. And also, there's another game that I've been developing with Kedrick, either called Which Floor or Flawed, which is about elevators. Your two lift elevators, lift, Americans call them elevators. Burn that candle. I know, this is why I'm so tired. Where you... both of you are lift operators, and it's meant to be like the 1920s, where the lift operators actually had to do the buttons. It was, and they had to stop it. I did a bit of research on this. You had to stop it with gears and stuff like that. So you actually needed lift operators. They weren't just there to say hello, which floor, and push a button. They needed to brake and stop. It was a manual thing. It's crazy. So that's the premise of it, and what you're trying to do is you're after tips. So each guest that you have into your lift, each different coloured guest tips differently, and they want to go to different floors. So basically, you're trying to get all these guests to different floors and then out the hotel again, gaining the most tips. So I've been developing that one as well. So it's been full on. Can I go to bed now? Bring out your dead. Exactly, Bring Out Your Dead. Well, that was the obvious title, wasn't it, Spelsing? Bring Out Your Dead. However, if you go to Board Game Geek website, there is already a game that was published in 2015 called Bring Out Your Dead, which we looked at and we went, oh, that's a shame, because that's a really cool title. However, the game is very different to what we wanted to do. Needed that. So the game is very different to what we wanted to do. So we were thinking, yeah, that should be okay. We will still go ahead with it. However, Bring Out Your Dead is already out as a title. So we could still use it, but I think it would be very confusing. Bring Out Your Deceased. Well, I suddenly thought, why don't we call it Ring Out Your Dead? Because, he has a bell, doesn't he? Ring out your dead. Yeah, people like that. Or, take out your dead. Yeah, but come on, Ring Out Your Dead's great. Or the other title I thought was Dead Ringers. Dead Ringers. Yeah, something to do with that. Love it. Which one do you like? Dead Ringers? Yeah, we should be alright with Dead Ringers if we went with that. Even though it's a TV show. Because it's a TV show. It's not a board game. Dead Ringers is a movie and also a comedy radio series. Yes, it's also a TV show. Yes. I'm aware of that, Jonathan. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know it was a movie, though. I would go with Ring Out Your Dead. Yeah, I do like Ring Out Your Dead. That's my favourite out of all of them. If we can't have Bring Out Your Dead. Yeah. Ring Out Your Dead. Because the thing is, it will remind people of Bring Out Your Dead, which is exactly what we want. So it's like having the title Bring Out Your Dead, but without actually having Bring Out Your Dead. Dead Ringers... I think we would still be okay to use Dead Ringers because it's not a board game or a card game, it's a different medium. However, the guy that I'm developing the game with is German, and so that he didn't know what that meant. And I said, yeah, it's like doppelgangers, so it doesn't quite fit what we've got in the game. You know, there's no dead ring, there's no look-alikey things in there. The title of my Ace game books, I intend to remind people of the original source material. Absolutely, Jonathan. Well, you've done a double whammy, haven't you? Because you've taken already known things, known popular culture stuff, and then written a game book about it, which is a genius model for business. And then, yeah, you've tweaked the title. So you've very cleverly, you know, towards the Krampus Nightmare Before Christmas and Alice's Nightmare in Wonderland. This one, though, you're not very inventive on this one. Dracula, Curse of the Vampire. What else could you put? What was the original Dracula called? Was it just Dracula? Can't remember that. Because the Frankenstein is something I can never pronounce it, but it's like the posthumous something or other. But because I can never pronounce it, I never remember what it was. Ketchup. That's a nice source of material. You could write a book about Heinz Ketchup Factory. So just to let you know, Jam, or our very own Jam, yes, his Paranormal Hero, The Witches of Kara. If you backed that one, you should have received it by now. It was just called Dracula. Okay, yeah, there you go. Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. I can pronounce that word, Prometheus, which is an alien title as well. And at one point, I looked up the word, what Prometheus means, and I can't remember now. So yes, Jam has fulfilled his part of his Kickstarter by finishing his novel. And this really should have been the size I should have done mine. Yeah, that's that. Oh, look at that. That's pretty much bang on a fighting fantasy one. How many words was your novel, Jam? I was going to say there's an alien reference with that one. Yes, yeah. Prometheus was a titan who stole fire from the gods. Oh, and gave it to mankind. Yes, I did look that up, and it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because he steals life. You know, he's managed to create life. Dr. Frankenstein. Prometheus. It's a great word, isn't it? Great title. Great name, I should say. Yeah, how many words was your Jam book? Your game book, Jam? Can you remember? So once I've finished my Kickstarter and getting everything sorted out, then, of course, I do need to write the collaborative game book that Jam and I are doing. My one is called The Rat Wife of Sleepy Eye, and that's going to be 200 entries, and it's going to be slim. It's not going to be as... They're meant to be short ones. And that is a collaboration. So Jam's going to do his one. I think he's already finished it. I'm going to do my one. So if you backed my campaign and you backed Jam's campaign, you will get both of the books. And also, great news on that one. Savage Realms, who we are doing a live stream, one of their books actually, Where Shadows Fail. They are going to be publishing both of our books separately. And anyone that backed the campaign, you're going to get a free print version. Because at the moment, it was just digital. That was all it was ever going to be, a digital book. But now you're going to get a free print version of that. So it's good news. It's really good news. So there we are. So that's pretty much up to speed with what is going on. I'm sure there's some other projects that I could talk about, but... Oh, Julian's just walked in. Hello, Julian. How are you? I was going to say, very briefly, I have printed off another copy with all the images in. There you go, look, with all the images in, all the filler images, and all of the... Oh, you guys haven't seen this yet. Yeah, the adventure sheet has now been done. There we go. So I've put like a little fuzzy border as a give it a little bit of, you know, bit of a feel. So I've done all those little extra bits as well. It's written down somewhere, but I forgot since doing Raiders of the Idrium Caves. No worries, Jam, no worries. Good, just dropping in to wish you well in Essen this week. Yes, thank you very much, Julian, I appreciate that. Looking forward to it. It'll be busy, but it should be very, lots of fun. And hopefully a good chance to do a bit of networking, as well, because I've realised the importance of networking. Yes, and I do have a murder mystery this evening as well, so it's full on for me. So after this live stream, I'm going to have a little snooze. Jealous, would love to go. Yeah, I know, it's massive. It is one of those. It's weird though when it's different. I know it. I'm very lucky to go. They're paying for me, they're paying for all my flights and the accommodation and the food. So I'm very lucky. However, I'm demoing games for them. I'm demoing Crooked Crown, Guildlands, and Shadow Ninja. Wo Level das Essen. Don't know what that means. Sasha's also got a murder mystery tonight. Fantastic. Is that a local one or do you have to travel? Is that with Murder 57 as well? Busman's Holiday, yeah. So I do have to demo the game. So obviously I can go around and walk around, but it is a different mindset to if you just go as a guest, just go as a player and you just walk around, because you are, all your time is your time. So you can spend it how you like. Whereas obviously I'm going to be demoing the game, so for most of the hours, I'm going to be just demoing games. German for where is the food? That is possibly the best thing I'll ever need to know. But don't get me wrong, it's fun and you get to meet people and you get to play you get to demo games to people. And what's really nice is obviously, when you see that they're enjoying the game and they've said they've enjoyed the game, because that's always nice, because that's why you do these creative stuff. So Sasha's put her murder mystery, got a slight travel, but it's in Haywards Heath. Oh, I know Haywards Heath. I've got a friend who lives there, so it's not that far. No, it's Blackwatch. I've not heard of those. A really good one to get involved with as well. Okay, I've not heard of Blackwatch. Nice. Well, good luck with that, Sasha. Along with Jules B. Bitter, which presumably means where's the beer? Is that right? Probably. Something to do with beer. That's all you never need. That's the thing. That's the first thing they should teach you at school. 2 beers, please. Oh, I see, 2. Just so you don't have to go back up to the bar. So there we are. So that is everything. All caught up. I've got my, I think I showed you these before. I've got my business cards where I've put here, I'm going to cover up my telephone number, games, game books, novels. So there you go. Oh, hello. Ooh. Yeah, so there's my business cards. So hopefully I'll be handing those out. Exactly, Essential German. Thanks, Hun. Blackwatch Entertainment, they're called, and is run by a wonderful lady called Tamara, if you want to look them up and apply. I might well do, although I'm so busy. But I might do. It's always worth knowing about other murder mystery companies. 07, yeah, exactly. I know, that slipped out, didn't it? That slipped out. Morning, Sally. I'm just about to go. I keep trying to wrap it up and then more people join. Good morning, Sally. How are you? We have talked and talked and talked. Obviously, I have 9 more to go. Yeah. Hindally. Hindally-dally. 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 Hin Sally Sally. Hin Sally Sally. Hin. So I'm late. Was in Sainsbury's. That's all right. Well, I'm just about to wrap it up. I've got to go. It's 10 o'clock. Well, it's 11 o'clock now. I say, good Lord. I know, it's your big sausage fingers, Julian. Other supermarkets are available. Yeah, but other supermarkets play... they play music, which I'm not a big fan of. Although Tesco and Hartford seem to have got the levels right. It's quieter now. A lot of the times I go in there now, it's quieter. Yeah, your big meaty tube fingers. Yeah, I thought that I might have missed it. Take care, Ken. Bye, chat. Yes, I'm pretty much gonna wrap it up now, because I've got going to go through my lines a bit more, and not that I really need to, but go through my lines. I'm going to have a snooze. I'm going to reply to some emails, and then I do need to work out this. I've got a murder mystery set collecting problem. No worries, Julian. I've been called worse. Sasha's put it, great stream as always. Catch you another one. Yes, thank you, Sasha, for watching. I appreciate that. I know you're busy as well, but everybody's busy, aren't they? So thank you, Julian. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Spelsing. Thank you, Lirin, for watching, presumably on catch up. Thank you, Julian. Thank you, Martha, for joining in as well at the beginning. Anybody else? Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jam. Have I missed anybody? Hopefully I haven't. It's been a pleasure as always. You guys are the bomb. And remember, I didn't bring the book, but we are doing a game book. Oh no, there's no Wednesday. Because I'm going to be in Essen. And there's no Saturday. So the next 2 live streams I can't do. So there we go. Have a great week, folks. Yeah, see you all then. Not this week. Yes, thank you, Julian. I forgot. So there's not going to be this Wednesday and there's not going to be this Saturday. But there should be one the Wednesday after, if that makes sense. I'll put it up in the Edra Tales Facebook group. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, see you then. Nice one, guys. Take care.